welcome back to Attack 404. In this episode, we're going to take a look at war driving for noobs. And we're going to talk about some Wi-Fi hacking tools that you can use. And then in the next video, we're going to take a look at how we can go about launching the attacks on Wi-Fi so that you can get an idea of what a pen tester would do during a wireless pen test. So first, let's discuss what war driving really is. And if you have a car, that's great. War driving is easy. You jump in your car, you set a destination, and then with your destination, you look for wireless APs. That simple. In your little pen test or discovery mode, we'll say, because we're not doing anything illegal, there are a few tools that you're going to use. Because this tutorial is going to be based both in Linux and in Mac OS, I'm going to discuss the tools that we're going to be using. Those tools do have their respective links up on the presentation, but we also will put them in the description. Kismet Wireless is passive, as well as Airodump, Wireshark, and Wavemon. These don't interact with the Wi-Fi access points that you are discovering, unlike the tools that are listed on the right, such as NetStumbler and Insider. God, that sounds terrible. But if you have a hacking tool that you like, share us what tool you like to use for your wireless assessments, and let's have a discussion with it in the comments. So with that said, I'm going to transition over to a terminal, and I'm going to show you how we need to set up GPS as well as Airodump. And we'll also take a look at how we set up Kismet to start scanning. Okay, so let's bust out with a terminal. And then what we'll do is we'll make sure that the USB devices that we have installed are actually picked up. In this case, we're going to be looking for TTY USB 0, and we'll look for that inside of dev. First will become root. So you can see we have TTY USB 0. So now in order to enable gpsd and to get this device picked up, what we're going to do is we're going to run the following command. Once we run that command, we can validate if in the event that GPS is working. So what we could do is we could launch gpsmon, and you'll see we're getting JSON data, which is a good sign. In order to validate again, we could also use xgps. And then you'll want to pay attention to this segment down here for longitude and latitude. That'll basically let us know that we are in fact receiving the coordinates to where we are. So once that populates, we could then run Airmon and Kismet. And here you can see everything populated. We're good to go. So now let's X this off. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to look for our Ethernet devices. And in this case, we already have WLAN0mon up and running. And in order to get there, what we needed to do was we needed to type the following command in. You'll see that there's 3 services that are running that we need to kill. So we run Airmon ng check kill. Those will get killed. The next command that we would run would be Airmon ng start with the interface. So if we do ifconfig again, it would be... Okay, so you see we have this interface here, and there should be the... Okay, good. Everything reset. My previous instance crashed, so here we are at it again. So what we're going to do is Airmon ng start, and then we're going to type in our obnoxiously long interface. If we do another ifconfig, we see that WLAN0mon is now running, so we'll copy that. And then we'll do Airodump. And then what we're going to do is issue that for the interface that's going to be monitoring, and you'll see we start to gather a bunch of wireless access points. With that said and done, we're going to pivot over to this running in the background and us running Kismet. With this already running, we're going to open up another terminal and another tab, and let's make this a bit bigger so we can see. We are going to run as root. Ooh, the power. And then what we're going to do is we're going to issue... Just make sure Kismet's installed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to issue the Kismet command to tell it what interface to listen on, as well as the GPS. Then you'll see this command up here, or this link actually, and we're going to open that. This will open our browser. And you'll see that the coordinates are at the top over here, where we are. And actually get us out in the car. One of the things that was briefly mentioned during the usage of Kismet and Airodump is that if in the event that you're running Airodump, you're not able to connect to any other wireless adapters because it does kill the network connections. So in this instance, I'm going to go through a method that you could use in order to scan wireless access points but also be connected to the internet. And in order to do that, I'm going to do it with this method that we're using here. So you can see we have 4 different services that are running, and they all point to services that are problematic for Airmon. What we can do, notice I didn't use the kill command. If we do an if config, we can see that this is our Wi-Fi card. If we run the following commands, we could effectively put the Wi-Fi card into monitor mode, and we don't have to deal with the Mon 0 card like we did in the previous example. And then you can see we have this card, the loopback, and another wireless card that I have attached to my system that's integrated. And now we can see if we run Airodump with the wireless card we put into monitor mode, the networks do come up. So now if we want to get extra crazy, we might have to load the GPS again because I rebooted. So now we'll wait a little bit just to see if in the event that we get a signal. And then once we get a signal, what I'll end up doing is I'll load Kismet again. And while that's running, just as proof that we are connected to the internet with the other Wi-Fi adapter, you can see we could ping Google, so we're going out with one adapter, and we're still scanning there. And we wait. While that's running silly, I'm gonna go make coffee. Okay, so we're gonna exemplify this with my Ustikyo. See, very nice. This is the antenna that I normally use. I stick on the outside of the truck. This is all pre-gamed before we do the war driving. Yes, it is 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh well. And this is the GPS receiver that I will be sticking either somewhere on my dashboard or outside the truck as well. And then I'll be setting up my laptop. Ooh, very nice, very fancy. To basically do all the war driving. So we'll see in a little bit. Okay, so before I start driving, we got the GPS up there. The antenna is God knows where. The GPS is showing coordinates, so we can close this. So now we're going to start Airodump. Airodump is running, and now we're going to start Kismet, and then we'll open the browser, and you see Kismet is loaded and it is scanning devices. So we'll come back. So we're chilling in a red light. If you hear panting, that's my dog. She's like in my ear. Say hi. We didn't get too far. Probably some Wi-Fi network should be popping up. I'll probably demonstrate how to extract the information so that we can take a look at it and pop that into OpenStreetMaps, I think it is. So, be right back. You can kind of see that there's, as we would say in Italian, stugazzi are coming up. But I'll show you how to extract the GPS information and then upload that in the points. So, a little bit longer. Some of you might get this, some of you might not. Think Mr. Robot. That's all I'm gonna say. If you could figure it out, good for you. Okay, so we've done our war drive. I'm back here with my Deutsche Schäferhund. She had a pup cup and I got my fruity drink. Hey girls. Anyway, so we've collected quite a bit of access points. Probably gonna plot a lot of them. A lot of them come from where I used to hang out and fun stuff. So if we look at our home directory and we do Kismet, we can see that this is the file that we've done the war driving with. If we want to extract all of the GPS data, we have to do something like this. Do the output file as and then it should do a bunch of cute stuff. I'm gonna sip on my fruity drink. Don't judge me. So just to put it into perspective, we nailed about 299 access points. I'm pretty sure there's more because there was a lot of errors that said that there was no GPS data available for it. How, why, I don't know, I don't care. This is a quick example of how you war drive. Now, combine this with the fact that this is also what we could do in a site walkthrough to determine not only what Bluetooth is around in the area, but also what Wi-Fi access points are around us. So think of, instead of us doing this in a large scale or on a large scale like we've just done, think of this more in terms of a city block where you have a building, or site locations where you're going to have to do a walkthrough when you're doing a pen test or an assessment, or if you need to determine rogue access points that are in the area and all that cute stuff. Now, yes, I've done this with a rather large laptop. You could do this with probably a Raspberry Pi. I'll look into setting some stuff up for the Raspberry Pi so it's more innocuous. The girl at Starbucks was looking at me like I was a cyber criminal. Oh well. Yeah, fun times doing while driving. With that, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to load the GPS data into the open streets. So let's check that out. So there might be a whole wild thing going on with my audio because I keep moving the mic around and I had to do the drive and all that crap. So I opted not to share the map for privacy reasons, and by privacy reasons it's mostly if I upload the map, then anybody with API access can see it. Now, this is going to be one of those things where you need to decide how you want to go about uploading your traces, and I'm going to get a little into the privacy aspect of it in a moment. So when you log into openstreetmap.org, you'll go to the GPS traces at the top over here. And then what you'll do is you'll click on upload a trace, and then you'll save it as private. The thing with private is that other people with API access can access it. This introduces two problems. One, from a privacy standpoint, and two, if you're working with a customer that doesn't want this information available, it will become public with API access. So you kind of want to weigh in your options. Unfortunately, a lot of the exported GPS data didn't export as I intended it to, but the process on how to do that is documented through this video. So the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin up a Wi-Fi access point, and I'm going to put some APs up with clients. And then I'm going to show you how to break into a Wi-Fi access point and how to associate your devices with it, and potentially how to see devices that are on a Wi-Fi access point that you're not associated to, and also how to show hidden access points and find out their names. Now, we really didn't do much hacking outside of just setting up a system so that we could war drive with. We did learn how to export some of the data for OpenStreetMaps. The next episode, we're going to take a look at how we could use that information and then crack an AP with the tools that we're using and some new tools. I will throw up a quick video somewhere in the midst of all of this for the other tools that we discussed both in Windows and Mac OS, so you could kind of see what tools are available depending on the operating system that you are running with. I do want to give a shout out to Daniel Battel, if I'm saying his name right. If not, sorry for butchering your last name. I've been watching your videos on DaVinci Resolve, and I appreciate everything that you've been putting out there to help me from Filmora, which was terrible. I do hope you heal up really quick, brother. Thank you for the videos, and keep up the great work. If any of you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. See you next time.